gotta be foxfire spirits. No, Chicky, it's probably just swamp gas. Hello. Hello. In case you haven't guessed it, today's X-Files review will be about the Season 2 episode, Our Town. This is an episode, it's not exactly my favorite, but I have very fond memories of watching it. So, a long time ago, and today, because my daughter has one about every 6 months at her school, they have Scholastic book fairs, and what they are is Scholastic comes into schools, usually in rural areas, where children do not usually have access to a public library or a bookstore, and they have new and interesting books for kids to choose from and their parents to choose from. I still love going to the Scholastic book fairs at my daughter's school. And when I was in about the 8th grade, there was a Scholastic book fair at my school. My family was poor. We didn't have much spending money as kids. But I did get a few dollars up to purchase the junior novelization of this episode, Our Town. And I gotta say, I have it packed up somewhere in my mom's things. If I find it, I'll post it on Twitter. But it did not hold back from the grislier aspects of this episode, and it targeted ages 8 to 12, and it had like all the beheadings, all the cannibalism, all the things. So yeah, Our Town is at the end of season 2. It is the get out of here, fly. It is the penultimate episode of season 2. I love that word, penultimate. One cool thing about the X-Files, when I review Field Trip, I'll talk about this. In every season, usually, there's a penultimate episode, the episode for the last episode of the season. And it has a kind of foreshadowing of what is to happen in these seasons to come and in the season finale, which is pretty interesting. So that's for a show famous for its maybe not so good writing. Infamous for its maybe not so good writing. That's pretty clever writing. So Our Town opens up with a certain George Kern, and he's in the car with a woman named Paula. And George Kern is a big fucking creep. And spoiler alert, when he dies, I don't feel sorry for him. So, first of all, he's running around on his wife, which is a bitch move. And then he's talking to this woman, Paula, and they're pulled over on the side of the road in the middle of the woods. And he tells her, hey, you're not in high school anymore. We don't have to do this, like, sneak around in a parked car, which implies that if she was in high school, he would still pursue her. So fuck you, George Kern. You're a cheater and a creep. So what a gross man. Anyway, so she gets out of the car. She's like, you gotta catch me first. He chases her. He falls down twice, and when he gets up, he sees lights coming through the forest towards him. I'm about halfway through watching Gemini Home Entertainment. If you don't know what that is, it's a YouTube series. It's extremely scary. And there is one part where there are lights coming across the fields and the forest towards it's from a first-person perspective towards the camera, and it's extremely scary. That's a trope that really scares me, when you're alone in the woods or the fields and you just see lights coming towards you. Like, look out, man, shit's about to go down. He turns around. There is a person in a mask, and there is this ominous sound effect. And let me tell you about the sound effect. They use it in the X-Files anytime there is any culture or ethnicity explored besides white people. And the fact that they use this very ominous and creepy sound in association with that is bad enough and racist as fuck. But it's the fact that they use the same sound effect over and over again. They use it in this episode when they're displaying the mask from Papua New Guinea. They use it in Tesos dos Bichos. I think that's how we pronounce it. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that episode. They use it in Hell Money. Pretty much any episode that explores a culture other than Caucasian. They use the sound effect, and it's like, I don't know. I can't really tell. Did the writing room have any diversity? I can't really tell at this point. Heavy sarcasm on that comment. So this person in this mask raises an axe and chops the guy's head off. Is it an axe? It's either an axe or a machete. I think it's an axe. Raises the axe, chops this guy's head off. So then you get your title credits, and then you see a Mulder and Scully, and they are talking about this missing persons investigation. George Kearns, he went missing around Dudley, Arkansas. And Mulder says this on several occasions. It is the home of Chaco's Chicken. David Duchovny has some of his most sterling acting in this episode. I'm just kidding. His acting sucks in this episode. And that's saying something. I don't mind Mulder's quips and little sarcastic comments so much. I mean, they're annoying, sure, but I know he's doing it like just to impress Scully. Spoilers, she's not impressed at all. But in this episode, when Mulder is at all surprised or appalled or showing any kind of emotion, David goes, oh no, look out for that truck. My 7-year-old kid does better and more emotional acting than David Duchovny does in this episode. Oh, hello, we have a visitor. Can you see her? Yes. We all see her clean butthole. Good job. So, could you get your tail out of the way, maybe? That'd be great. Okay. Hey, get your butt out of my face. You can sit in my lap. Just get your butt out of my face. So, David's acting in this episode. It's requiring something. Maybe better acting. Today's episode is brought to you by water. Water. You live on the only planet with it. It makes up 90% of this planet, and you better take it clean or you'll die of dysentery. Water. It doesn't fuck around. That's our sponsor for today, so... if you have a product you want me to sponsor, like in all seriousness, please hit me up. I'd love to talk about your product. Don't know if you've noticed my lapis lazuli water glass. My daughter got it for me for my birthday. So, Mulder, Scully's like saying to Mulder, she's like, aren't you worried about, these people? They're giving you this case. They're trying to undermine your work. And I'm like, Dana Scully, you're so cute. Thinking you can save Mulder's reputation. And Scully does this into season 7, pretty much until Mulder is abducted. She does it in X-Cops. That's the episode I'm thinking of. And I'm like, oh, Dana Scully, you're so cute. You can't save a reputation that's not there, baby. Like, Mulder was beyond saving when he got to the X-Files, okay? But that is cute, Dana Scully. Good job. A for effort. So, she says, they're sending us off on a wild goose chase. And he's like, a wild chicken chase. You're going to learn in this episode that Mulder doesn't know shit, or I should say chicken shit, about chickens. So they get to Dudley, Arkansas, which I'm assuming is in the Ozark foothills. And they meet the sheriff. He played the firefighter in Fight the Future. Most people quote him by saying, "What about my men?" That's like his one line that he's famous for. It's like a Admiral Akbar in Star Wars. It's a trap. This guy has, "What about my men?" He'll forever go down in history as the "What about my men" guy on Fight the Future. Anyway, he plays the sheriff on this episode. All around nice man. Yeah, put a pin in that. That's not suspicious at all. So, they see this stick in the ground. It's stuck in the ground. It has like 3 prongs sticking out, kind of like a fork. It's a witch's peg. And you really think this will like play into the plot? It doesn't. It's a MacGuffin. They see a huge burn mark on the field. And Mulder's like, "It must be a foxfire spirit." And Scully, solving the case on sheer intuition, says it's probably from a bonfire. And I'm like, Dana Scully. I was on Twitter and they were talking about how Mulder's right all the time and Scully struggles to accept blah blah blah. You know who's right all the time? Scully. She solves almost every case by just sheer intuition. love my gal. So the sheriff's like he's like, "Yeah, this was made by a trash fire." Scully gives Mulder a little smirk. I also want to point out Mulder is wearing his stupid little glasses. Mulder wears these little round shades and it looks very silly. Not to hate on Mulder, but really, yes, to hate on him. Those glasses look really dumb. So, they go to the Chaco's chicken processing plant. We see a whole lot of raw chickens. Content warning: raw chickens. They meet the plant manager. He's kind of a turd. He tells them like, "Yeah, George Kearns is like trying to shut this plant down," and Scully's like, "Enough to do something about it?" And then they see like this trough of just slop, and Mulder's like, "What's that?" And I gotta say, anytime like Scully's talking to someone and Mulder's like wandering around, looking at things, I feel very seen in my neurodivergence. So the plant manager's like, "Yeah, that's dead chickens. You know, we feed it to the live chickens." Mulder is disgusted. He's like, "Chickens eating chickens?" And I gotta say, what little respect I had for Mulder, which is not much, excuse me, I lost it when I heard him say that. Mulder doesn't know shit about chickens. Here are some true facts about the chickens. Did you know chickens are cannibals? Chickens will eat anything and everything. I have seen chickens eat frogs, toads, rats, snakes. Yeah, a giant rat came into our chicken coop and the rooster killed it and the hens ate it. So, yeah, chickens don't fuck around. Chickens are the animal kingdom's version of fuck around and find out. Chickens are badass. I don't know why saying someone is a chicken is an insult. Chickens are pretty hardcore. So they feed this stuff to the live chickens, and I gotta say, like, these people are trying very hard to like not look innocent. Like, they're saying, "Oh yeah, George Kearns, the missing man, he was trying to shut down this plant. Let me show you this vat of processed meat that may or may not be chickens that we feed to the chickens." So then you see Paula from the beginning, and Paula is not well. She's looking at the chickens like going by on the conveyor belt, and she sees George Kearns' head. She throws it. It's just a raw chicken. And then she pulls a knife on the plant manager, and Scully tries to talk her down. I want some ASMR videos of Dana Scully talks you down from your panic attack. That's that would just be all of my playlist on my phone would just be Dana Scully talks you down from an anxiety attack. Anyway, in a trope that's near and dear to the X-Files' heart, before Paula can give the agents any information, someone shoots her. Boy, we love that trope. That happens in Red Museum, probably. Hey, they're even in a meat processing plant. This was in the same season too. Holy shit! So, the sheriff shoots her. She sinks into the chicken, the processed meat chicken feed machine, which pretty much should be a dead giveaway. Like Mulder, like what is that scene from Robin Hood Men in Tights? You just expect Mulder and Scully to like pull the scripts out and be like, okay, yeah, all right, yeah, I see it now, okay. If you have not watched Robin Hood Men in Tights, it's a classic. Oh, so good. One of my favorite movies. Also another plug, the true facts about the chicken. If you're not watching Z Frank's animal videos on YouTube, what are you doing with your life? Go check them out. They're fantastic. So, he talked to the plant manager. He got a gnarly cut on his neck, and he's like, I don't know what would have made Paula snap. She was very well liked. And Scully's like, well, we got to do an autopsy on her then. He's like, nah, you got to talk to Mr. Chaco, because Paula is his granddaughter. So they go and see Mr. Motherfucking Chaco. They go to his fine-ass house. He's feeding some chickens in his backyard. And another trope I love in the X-Files is when Scully talks to some old white man, and she asks him a simple yes or no question, and the man gives her his life story. I just want Scully to like look at the camera like a la The Office. She's like, it's a yes or no question, dude. Just say yes or no. So he goes into this long spiel about how he raised up that plant from nothing, and he's a self-made man. First of all, dude, you're not. No one is a quote, self-made man, a self-made individual. We are humans, so we depend on other humans. That's how we are, okay? And once we start turning on each other is when we fuck up. So, fuck you, Mr. Chaco. Also, this is not your land, alright? You are a white man. This is not your land. But if Mr. Chaco's good at anything, it's appropriation. And we'll get to that in just a minute. Boy, he's a piece of shit. So he says, yeah, do the autopsy. Why not? Because these people, I don't know if they're just stupid or they're not afraid of being found out. Are they idiots like the townspeople in Arcadia? Who the fuck knows? So they do the autopsy on Paula, and Mulder comes in with her birth records, and he's like, hey, guess what? This woman who looks like she's in her early 20s is about to turn 50. And Scully's like, nah, I don't think so. And you think this, like, Fountain of Youth plot point is going to come back in the episode. And, like, you're going to have, like, a big reveal. Guess what? It doesn't. It absolutely does not. The first time I watched it, I kept waiting for, yeah, we're going to see this where, like, the villain reveals, like, aha, yes, I have been doing this to achieve eternal life, so I can live to be 100 and look like I'm goddamn in my early 50s. And, it doesn't at all. So Scully tells Mulder, like, hey, you're full of shit. So, which is her MO. So then, like, they're riding down the road, and another this a sterling bit of David Duchovny's acting where they say they're driving, and Scully's like, yeah, Paula had this thing called Yates Foliaca disease. I'm sure I'm mispronouncing that. And she said it's a brain disease. It's passed on, to other people, but it's passed on through consumption, or through bloodlines. And she's like, George Kearns had it, Paula has it, and then they almost get run off the road by this chicken truck, in which David Duchovny shouts, a truck, look out. And I'm like, give the man all the Emmys. Who is this? And people are like, oh, he's the greatest actor ever. I'm like, are we watching the same actor? Is this the same actor we're talking about here? So, after that sterling bit of David Duchovny acting, the chickens are free, and they're like, yeah, fuck these humans. Let's start our own version, X-Files version of Animal Farm. Me and my spouse love to watch this episode just sheerly for its ironic humor, and he always says that when the chicken truck crashes. He's like, yes, we're free, fuck the humans. So they figure out the truck driver also had this like very rare disease, and Scully's like, this is like close to impossible that 3 people would have this brain disease. But then Mulder says, but not as impossible as someone living forever. And I'm like, okay, Mulder, first of all, having eternal youth is something that is not possible. Okay, man, like it's in the realm of imagination. 3 people having a well-documented disease is a possibility. Like, it's not a probability, but it's more possible than that. So, anyway, yeah, but Mulder's like, yeah, those are definitely the same things. So then, Fox Mulder, Jesus Christ. So then, Mulder notices the river. It's really nasty. Again, Mulder using his sterling powers of deduction. He, like, tossed the sheriff. He's like, hey, what's wrong with this river? And the sheriff's like, I don't know, dumbass. It's right next to the plant. What the fuck do you think is wrong with it? He's like, it's runoff from the plant, man. So, again, Mulder knows nothing about animal husbandry. It's pretty fucking apparent. When Mulder and Scully, like, move to the unremarkable house, is it like Green Acres? Like, do they have chickens, and like Mulder like has to learn how to like tend to them? Anyway, he like tells the sheriff, he's like, I need this river dragged, and the sheriff's like, again, another X-Files trope near and dear to our hearts, local law enforcement just being complacent and complicit. Is one of the most relatable aspects of the show. So he's like, I don't want to do this. And Mulder's like, okay, I'll get some feds out here to do it. And the man's like, okay, I'll do it. Again, these people are not trying to hide their suspicion. But then it's unlike Arcadia, where it's like the people are probably not smart. With these, it's pretty insidious, and I'll get to why I believe that. So they drag the river, and there's a fuck ton of human bones. And they got them all laid out. Scully's looking at the bone. She's sitting cross-legged. So cute. And they look at it. She's like, yeah, this is George Kearns' remains. And then like 9 other bodies, and there's still remains coming in. So, she's like, these go back 30 or 40 years. And she's like, look at these bones. She's like, they're buffed at the ends, like they've been boiled in a pot. And, she's like, Mulder, she's like, I got a really sick theory. And then Mulder gets fucking aroused. You can see his erection. He's like, that's right. My skeptical baby has a theory. Whenever Scully shows that side, he is just sprung. So, my cat's lapping water right here, and she looks very cute. So, she says, like, hey, what if these people were ground up and fed to the chickens, and then the people ate the chickens and got sick? And Mulder's like, yeah, but if the chickens are shipped out, that means a lot of people all over the country would get sick. And then, Mulder's like, so then, Mulder's like, time elapses, and then Scully comes in with a big old bucket of chicken. This is very much giving off vibes of the best damn barbecue in the state of Alabama from Fried Green Tomatoes. If you've never watched Fried Green Tomatoes, it is a fantastic lesbian film. Please watch it. I have been to Whistle Stop, Alabama, by the way. It is a real place. That's where the film takes place. And this is like the best damn chicken in the state of Arkansas. And Mulder's like, he's like, I think the good people of Dudley, Arkansas are eating more than chicken. Scully gets this look on her face. She turns pale, and she looks at the bucket of chicken, and she's like, nah, I don't think so. And you know Dana Scully loves chicken, okay? She's like, I will destroy this bucket of chicken. But not now. So, he's like, yeah, like, these people are eating these people are partaking in cannibalism. And Scully's like, yes, that would explain the, spreading of this rare brain disease because, it can be passed on through consumption, you know. And then Mulder, again, who's like, yeah, these are the two same things. He's like, also, a lot of cultures like consume flesh to gain eternal life. And I'm like, Mulder, look, it's more likely that these people got a brain disease from eating each other than eating it to attain eternal life. But whatever, man. So, like, it's amazing. So, then you see Mr. Chaco, George Kern's wife comes in. She's beside herself. And he's like, hey, it's okay. And we learn the truth. It's like these people, they'll take in an outsider, and then they'll lay in wait, and then they'll eat them. They'll kill them and they'll eat them. Make some human Brunswick stew. It's just apparently what they're doing. So, this is another thing that comes up in the X-Files a lot, and it's a trope that I love, where it's, there's a small town, and it has a very, very, very dirty underbelly. It has this very idyllic facade, but it's got a terrible secret. You see it so much in the X-Files. You see it in Home. You see it in this episode. You see it in Arcadia. There's the creepy episode in season 2 where the what is it? The coven of witches are in the high school. It has a German name I can't pronounce. Where you have like this very idyllic situation, and there's like this very dirty secret. And I think I love that, and a lot of people love that trope because it's very relatable. I mean, if you've ever lived in a small town, like, you know, like, some fucked up shit goes on in small towns just like it goes on in like urban city centers. So like, if you've ever lived in a small town, you understand what I'm talking about. So the plant manager's there talking to Mr. Chago, and he's like, look, you brought in these outsiders, the Kerns, George Kern and his wife, and they made us all sick. Now you're going to have to take care of this problem, And Mr. Chaco's like, no. He's like, we can't turn on George Kern's wife. She's one of us. I don't know why they just turned on George Kern so quickly, but like they accepted Doris as one of their own anyway, whatever. So, so much for Southern hospitality, right? So, he's like, no, like once we turn on each other, we're no better than the animals. And I'm like, yeah, but like this way of thinking where like this us versus them mentality between groups of people, like that's our undoing. Like when that in real life, like you see it so much, like when we become so deeply divided, like between groups of people, like yeah, that's our undoing. Like why don't you just extend it like to all humans? Like when we start to turn on each other, like we're no better than the animals. Like, but it's when we have this mindset that Mr. Chaco has, where it's like us versus them, us versus the outside world. That's when you start to crumble. So then, Mulder and Scully go to the Hall of Records. All the birth records have been burned. Mulder goes in there and he's like, looks like somebody's been playing with matches. And then he looks at Scully like, wasn't that great, babe? And she's like, oh my God, no. She's like, this man's gonna give me babies. I can't believe it. Like, she's like, I want his eyes and his shoulders in my children. Nothing else. I hope to God their kids get her brains. Because holy shit. Anyway, like, and again, you're like waiting for this big reveal, like, oh, these people eat flesh to gain eternal life. And it's like, it's never proven. Like, Mulder might be right, sure, but like, there's no proof for that. Like, Scully's theories brought about by her science and her sheer intuition are correct. Like, yes, she says, okay, it's probably a bonfire made by a cult. It's a bonfire made by a cult. She's like, okay, these people are dying and passing on this rare brain disease by consuming one another. That's exactly what's happening. Mulder's like, it's foxfire spirits. No, it's not. He's like, these people have eternal life. I don't know, do they? We're not sure. Like, it's never proven. So, but yeah, Mulder's always right. Please tell me some more how he's always right. So, then they get a call from Doris Kern, George Kern's wife. She's like, I fear for my life. I think Mr. Chaco's gonna, kill me. It's not Mr. Chaco. It's the Masked Man who killed her husband, and he kills her. I guess we're assuming he kills her. Then, Mulder, who knows a killer is on the loose, says to Scully, you go pick up Doris Kern and we'll split up. And I'm like, no. Use the buddy system. Did you not learn this in Irresistible, which happened a few episodes ago, man? Use the buddy system, Mulder. Like, we have just covered on Roy, where Mulder absolutely did not use the buddy system and Scully was abducted. So wouldn't you know it, Scully goes to Doris Kern's house and she gets abducted by Mr. Chaco. So Mulder goes to Mr. Chaco's house. He harasses the maid, and this makes me wonder, is everyone in this town in on this cannibalism cult? Like, I don't know. Like, that's one thing about the X-Files. The Sex Files podcast pointed this out. The Sex Files podcast is probably the best X-Files podcast out there. We love you, Stevie and Emily. Please come back to us. We need you in these dark, dark times. Like, is the absence of just good and decent people in the world of the X-Files. Like, all of this shady shit's going on and people are either actively taking part in it or just looking the other way. And that's what I don't believe. And maybe it's because I'm an idealistic nincompoop, but like, I really think there would have been some good people in this town who would have been like speaking out against it. Like, and it happens in so many other instances of the X-Files where it's like, this shady shit's going down, but there's some good people who are going to like be like, no, like, we're not being complicit with this. And it makes me wonder about the maid. Like, does she know? Is she just scared? Like, what's going on with her? She is easily one of the most interesting characters in the episode. Like, fuck Mr. Chaco. I don't want to know about this stupid, evil white man. I want to know about his maid, who is obviously afraid of him. Like, what the hell's her story? You know, she's pretty cool. So then they see this very suspicious looking cabinet. And Mulder's like, what's in here? And the maid's like, I don't know. I just work here, man. So Mulder destroys it. The maid's like, what the fuck are you doing? And he looks inside of it and he sees some heads. Human heads. George Kern's head, lots of other heads that have been mummified. Their eyes and mouths have been sewn up. Because Mr. Chaco, it's not enough that he, like, takes land, we're assuming from indigenous peoples, and calls it his own, but he also has to go overseas and appropriate cultures. His plane was shot down in the war over Papua New Guinea, and he was taken in by this tribe of people, and he appropriated their culture and brought it back home because, oh, fuck me. We love some appropriation of cultures. Actually, no, it's gross and stupid, and it makes me hate Mr. Chaco more. Fuck Chaco, okay? He does not get enough hate in the X-Files fandom. Faster, the creepy guy from Milagro, like, yeah, they're great villains, but Mr. Chaco is a fucking nard, alright? Like, he takes all the creepiness of Faster and Pageant, and he just mixes in some good old systemic racism. Fuck Chaco. So, Mulder gets a call from Scully, and then this phone line dies because, hey, we didn't use the buddy system, and now Scully's in danger. Oh boy, who the fuck surprised? So Scully gets abducted. Fuck me. Okay, one thing I would like to point out. Scully getting abducted is fucking stupid. It's like such a tired trope. But I gotta say, in later seasons, you get her saving Mulder just as much. So that's something. Okay, it still sucks that she gets abducted in like every other episode, but at least Mulder is too. So yay for equality. I don't know. Anyway, they take Scully to this field and they're gonna chop her head off. Fuck me. The plant manager's like, hey, we killed Doris Kearns. Mr. Chaco shows up with Scully. He's like, what the fuck are you doing? And then the plant manager's like, hey, we'll take care of them all. And that's right. Mr. Chaco is destroyed by the people that he instilled these awful beliefs in. So, you know what? Fuck Mr. Chaco. I don't feel sorry for him at all. He's not interesting and he's stupid. And you know what? I don't feel sorry for him. So he gets his head chopped off. And then it's Scully's turn. In this scene that is very drawn out and just terrifying and tedious, they put her head in this contraption, and the guy in the mask comes out and he's gonna chop her head off. And Mulder is driving by the field. He sees a giant bonfire and he's like, hey, my wife said there'd be a giant bonfire at this scene of the crime. Look at Mulder listening to Scully. Oh, he's so precious. So Mulder goes out there. He shoots the guy in the mask. Everyone starts running. And wouldn't you know it, it's the sheriff. It's the what about my men guy behind the mask. And the plant manager who, like, ordered these beheadings gets trampled to death by his fellow citizens, which is a pretty awesome bit of poetic justice. That's really good. Frank Spotness, I think, wrote this episode. That's pretty good writing. So then we learn that Chico's Chicken has been shut down, which is probably for the best. And at the end, we see a man shoveling the processed meat into the chicken feed, and you see a wisp of gray hair. So Mr. Chico didn't just get killed by the people who trusted him and he trusted the most. He got eaten by his own chickens. And I love that. The only thing that would make this better is if the chickens had an uprising and we had an X-Files version of Animal Farm. That is Our Town. This episode, it's not one of my favorites, but it's always fun to watch. I don't know why. Why is this episode interesting? Is it because we have a latent fascination with things like cannibalism, where the human condition is examined and we are closer to the beast than we think? Or is it because every little small town has a dirty secret and sometimes it comes back to bite the secret keepers on the ass? I don't know. Tell me your thoughts on this episode. Tell me your thoughts on chickens. Do you have chickens? I have chickens and I love them. You can find me on Twitter. I am at raccoons_dead. Find me on Tumblr. I am at Just Awful X-Men Art on Tumblr. And I just kind of revamped my DeviantArt page. I am at Dead Raccoons on DeviantArt. If you use DeviantArt, I don't know of anyone who does. And leave a comment below here on my YouTube page. I hope you have a beautiful day. It's some beautiful weather here in South Alabama. And I will see you later. Watch out for chickens. Mwah!